Psoriasis had taken over my body, my entire head, my joints. The joint pain was insane. Yeah, it was hard to move. The pain, the sleeplessness, which made the depression worse. And I was already depressed and suicidal. So I told the doctor, I'm not going to let you kill me. And that was pretty much going to be the end for me. Sorry. I don't know how I found Michaela's story that day somehow. I don't even know how. Michaela Peterson. Yeah, so I decided, well, if it changed her life that dramatically, I'm going to give it a try. And the anger that I felt when I started healing and realizing the lies and the companies and, but I want to take that anger and I want to build something where people can come and they can heal.
Hello and welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity. I think I got my shirt on. Power of a Proper Human Diet. And today I'm honored to have Lash on the channel. Welcome, Lash. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your story. You sent me an email and it was pretty incredible and pretty touching. And it sounds like you've had a heck of a turnaround. So looking forward to learning more about that. Maybe if we could start out, could you tell me a little bit about your life maybe before you found Carnivore Diet?
Yeah. So I, at the age of probably 18, 19, started noticing some changes in my skin. At around 21, I was diagnosed with psoriasis and possible psoriatic arthritis. From there, it got worse and worse. I am now 48, and October of 2022, I went to my last doctor's visit, and that's when I discovered carnivore.
How did you discover carnivore?
So my last doctor visit went really awful, as they usually did. They wanted to inject me with dual injections into my stomach, I guess twice a month or something crazy. It was an immune suppressant drug. It had awful side effects, and I was already depressed and suicidal. So I told the doctor, I'm not going to let you kill me. I'll go handle it myself. And I left that day. And that was pretty much going to be the end for me. Sorry. I don't know how I found Michaela's story that day somehow. I don't even know how. Michaela Peterson. Yeah, so I decided, well, if it changed her life that dramatically, I'm going to give it a try. I've tried everything else as far as diets went. So yeah, I wasn't ready to go, and I gave it a try. I started with fasting and animal-based to kind of wean myself off of everything. Went carnivore with dairy, and then cut basically everything at that point and went lion, and relapsed, got really sick December of last year, and then went full strict lion again. And I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life today. So yeah. Whew, sorry.
No, don't apologize, man. I feel that emotion. One of the biggest reasons I'm doing this video with you now, I'm doing this documentary, is because of depression, anxiety. I suffered from it most of my adult life. I don't want to make you sad, but can you maybe just touch on a little bit more, like what were some of your health issues? It seems like before people find carnivore, sadly, they have to go through a lot of suffering. It sounds like a lot of yours was depression, anxiety, but can you talk a little bit about what suffering you went through?
So yeah, the psoriasis had taken over my body, my entire head, scalp, eyelids, my basically from here all the way. So there's some scarring left that you can see. Here I am. I'm the clearest I've ever been in, I don't even, uh, 30 years now. But yeah, I was so bad and covered. And I don't know if you want to put up the before pictures I showed you, if you can, but I don't care. You can do that.
I will.
I don't have a lot of pictures from before because obviously who wants to take pictures of themselves looking the way they did? Yeah, it was hard to move. Um, the pain, the sleeplessness, which made the depression worse, which made the suicidal thoughts worse. I'd been basically had suicidal thoughts my whole life. And depression pretty much most of my life. Never knew, why or how. But the craziest thing is once I got on this strict routine is all that went away. Like suicidal thoughts would come just throughout the day randomly, any given day, any time of day. There's like a shield now. So they don't come near me. But yeah, I was bad. I could barely move. My whole skin was just a big, crusty, thick, bloody, crusty mess. From basically here, from my chest down, all the way down to my feet. And then my nails would be eroded. So my joints, the joint pain was insane. Yeah, it was just awful. Day-to-day life, getting out of bed after not sleeping at all, spasming all night, just covered, waking up bloody, crusted sheets, just skin everywhere. Life sucked. Yeah.
On the depression, did anything ever work for you over the years? Did you ever try like medication or therapy, or had anything ever helped you at all with your depression?
Never did therapy in traditional sense. My therapy is the ocean, hiking, meditation, martial arts, yoga, camping, that kind of stuff. Cannabis helped in different ways. I also created a cream with CBD and THC to help people with pain relief and help keep the scaling down. And that's actually on the market, which is great. And lots of people love it, and it helps lots of people. So, yeah.
And nothing with the medication in the past?
Well, so as far as the psoriasis medication, I had been on tons of different topicals, and they never helped, and they were awful, and they actually made my skin worse. So that where like I would brush up against cardboard, and I would start bleeding. So it thinned out my skin. Never made it better, really. They always wanted to put me on different drugs, which I refused. I was always scared of them because of the side effects, depression side effects, the suicidal side effects, the immune suppressing side effects. Yeah, so when I realized that, this wasn't an autoimmune disease, really, which is what they, threw down my throat, that it was gut issue and I need to heal my gut. And once I healed my gut, like, I call my mom constantly and tell, like, I can't believe this. Like, I'm in shock. Like, I stare at my legs in shock because the last time I was at that doctor's office, I took a picture of my legs sitting there in the chair, and then the nurse came in and she looks at my legs and they're all crusty and bloody and nasty. She goes, "What brings you in here today?" And I just, at that point, yeah. So I just had enough of them. I had had enough of trying to go to doctors, and yeah, and I didn't ever want to take their drugs. I didn't, and the topicals were bad enough that I didn't want to put something inside me. And I had ate very clean for what I thought. I ate a lot of raw vegetables, a lot of raw fruit. But then I also had the nighttime side, which was sugars and processed crap. And so yeah, once getting rid of all of that, God, life changed so dramatically. It's amazing. I went out in public the other day without all this on, and which I haven't done in I don't even know how many years, because my scalp was always bleeding, and it's not anymore, and it's not all flaky, and it's just amazing, just the changes. Not having people point and go, "Ooh, gross! What's wrong with you?" And
Right.
yeah.
Well, I just want to say, man, I'm first of all, I'm so happy for you that you found this. It's the suicidal ideation, depression. I don't want to say I can feel where you're at, but I had similar thing for so long, and there's so many people in the world that never experience that level of hopelessness or darkness, and they just don't realize it. So I guess you can't blame them. But I always tell people now, if you know someone that's depressed or anxious, you got to be really careful. People used to tell me, like, you just go for a walk, you'll feel better. And they don't have a clue to how deep and dark that depression goes. It used to be very similar to you. I'd spend my whole days just thinking about ways I could kill myself and just end it all for years and years and years. And so when you have something like this, it's like unbelievable, right? It's like do you feel like you have a second chance at life now?
I absolutely. It's actually more like a third for me. But yeah, I can't even describe the feeling that I have now, and it's just sometimes I just I touch myself and I'm like, no, everything feels different, and man, yeah, it's crazy. I have a whole new look on life. So basically now my main thing is I want a ranch space like you guys are doing. Like, you have a homestead. This is my dream. I need to get out of LA and off the grid, this thing. But I want to have a ranch where people can come and I can help guide them through, if they've gone through the same stuff I did or even similar things, and get them healed, because it's that easy. Like, it's and the anger that I felt when I started healing and realizing the lies, and Jesus Christ, I got so angry at the world and the companies, and but I want to take that anger and I want to build something where people can come and they can heal.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. I'm with you 100%. I was so pissed off because it was like all of that suffering for so long, and then it was this easy. It was just the food. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a little hard to start carnivore if you're doing sugar, to return to like a proper human diet, adapting. But once you get through the week or two, maybe 3 weeks, it's like the easiest thing in the world. And then you look around in the world right now, there's so many people suffering, Lash, like you were and like I was, now more so than ever. Suicidal depression, younger and younger. I think there's something like 1 billion people right now in the world with depression. It's worse now than it's ever been throughout humanity. And it's like, you and I have this answer for them. It's like right here. It makes me angry. It makes me hopeful at the same time because there's a solution, but it is very frustrating. And it's like, you just want to scream at everybody. Just do this. It's like, I was saying you got a second chance at life. You said maybe a third. I was thinking about this more. I almost feel like this is almost more like a first chance at life for me, because, not trying to be dramatic, but prior to this, I was on the standard American diet my whole life. And I always had this brain fog, and I was always
Yeah,
fatigued, and I was always tired, and I was always slightly depressed. The depression got worse and worse. But when you're walking around like that, it's almost like you're a shadow of the human you could be. You're a shadow of the potential you could be. So I guess I had a first chance at life before, but this is like really the first chance where I'm really clear minded, and probably what all humans should feel like is like you and me on an everyday basis. It's not like we cured something by eating meat. We're just kind of returning to what we always should have been had we not been poisoning ourselves that whole time.
absolutely. Yeah, I feel robbed of 30 years that I mean, man, I just feel like they took it away from me
Yeah.
and they lied to me. And but yeah, here I am. I'm 48. I'm in the best shape of my life. My arthritis pain is diminishing by the day. My skin is 95+% clear at this point. Like,
It's amazing.
I couldn't ask for anything more but a ranch. And so now I'm looking for some people to get together with and to actually do this and make it a reality and start changing people's lives.
You feel this yearning for the ranch, and well, it sounds like you want to help other people, which is amazing, but it seems like with this way of living, we're kind of returning to what's natural for humans. Is
Mm-hmm.
that kind of your yearning for a ranch and getting out of LA, is try to reconnect with nature in some way?
100%. I just feel it more and more. I feel like there's a calling now that I never felt before. Maybe that's the clear mindedness that the fog is lifted. But yeah, it's incredible. Like that's all I think about. I'm constantly searching for properties and figuring out, all the friends that want to do this with me, we're all broke. So we're trying to figure this out. But where there's a will, there's a way. It'll happen. I've gotten this far in my life. I've never given up. I've given up a million times. Let's be honest, but I'm still here. So
Right.
haven't
Well,
given up completely.
I have this firm belief that when you're passionate about something, and for the right reasons like you are, the world's just going to figure it out. It's gonna come together for you for sure. I really do believe that. Um, at, you got an open invite too. Anytime you want to come up, we got the Airbnb on the house. You can come up. You want to stay for a week or something and hang out, make you some steaks and stuff like that. But
I would love.
yeah, absolutely.
I would
Can
love it.
we take just a little bit of a step back, and can you tell us a little bit when you first started? There's a lot of people that are going to watch this that are depressed, that are anxious, that have health issues, and they're so scared. This goes against everything they've ever been told. Breakfast is the
Yeah.
most important meal of the day. Meat's going to clog your arteries. You got to eat your vegetables. What was it like for you starting? I mean, it sounded like you were hopeless and desperate. You're going to try anything. But the first couple of weeks, what sort of foods were you eating, and how did it go? And what were your expectations versus what really happened?
I honestly had no expectation. I, I, I like you said, I was hopeless. I had given up completely, and I said, well, one more try with this, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm going back to Plan B. So I started with fasting 20 hours a day, and basically ground beef and some fruit, and I was still mixing in dairy. And yeah, I wasn't scared of what was the outcome of my health, because my health was so bad that you know what's this going to do? What's this isn't gonna, I'm not worried about having a heart attack at this point or anything like that. And everything that I researched showed that it's not going to hurt me. So from all the different doctors that I've been paying attention to, and you just basically had half of them at your place not too long ago, which was cool. Yeah, so I wasn't scared about that. So yeah, started off with fasting and like I said, animal based, and then I went just basically ground beef every day with some fruit and some dairy. I couldn't get away from like heavy cream. So I was getting raw heavy cream because, raw dairy. They said that was okay, and I was reading this and that. It turned out that like dairy for me was one of the worst things.
Mm.
I just can't. I will notice, like, I've tried to reintroduce dairy, and I'll notice flare up like instantly almost. Yeah, so dairy's gone. Yeah, I just started cutting everything out. I did go through like heavy, like each time I cut out a certain thing, like sugar, like that was heavy withdrawals. And, it was a few days of like, damn, this sucks, some headaches, whatever. No big deal though, honestly, compared to everything else. And then the dairy, there was withdrawals from dairy. Like dairy's addictive, sugar's addictive. But yeah, yeah. And then it's so easy now. I was always afraid of buying steaks and stuff because I didn't know how to cook them. And now I'm such a damn expert. I can cook any piece of meat you give me. But I lived my life as basically as a Rasta man. And we were taught just, Ital food, which was unprocessed. And, I ate mostly like that. But vegetables were killing me. I didn't realize it. The vegetables were really doing damage. Um, but yeah, like I still can't get over that. Like I literally basically just eat, some meat every day, and I never ever felt like this in my life. And I'll keep doing it.
Isn't it amazing? Like, so many people that will hear your story are going to say, you got to have those vegetables. It's crazy. Yet what you just said, I have heard over and over and over again. I'm not trying to demonize vegetables, but that was the same case. Just as one example, my wife, she was strict vegetarian for years, and her legs were just completely inflamed. She had migraines and headaches. And the only thing she quit, like she was eating really darn clean, was the vegetables, and everything cleared up. Like, what do you make of that? It seems like vegetables, they're supposed to be good for you. How could they be messing us up so bad?
I I mean, it's got to be their defense chemicals. It's got to be the chemicals we're putting on it. It's got to be
Yeah.
the soil they're growing in. It's got to be the GMO. It's got to be, I mean, who knows? I, I don't know, but I can't eat them anymore because they mess me up, and I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to eat what's not messing me up and what's changing my life for the better. And I'm sorry, people of the world that disagree with me, like family members that disagree with me, and friends that disagree with me that I don't really talk too much anymore. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm. This is, it's either that or like I was out of here. What do you want?
Right. Right. Well, one thing, I was so fortunate to interview Dr. Chafee, and one thing that he said to me early on that was really cool was you can get every single nutrients you need from meat, and you can thrive on meat. You can't say the same for vegetables. If you eat only vegetables, you have to supplement. But I love what you said too about the vegetables, because everyone holds them in such high regard. But when you really think about it, like if you're eating a salad, the amount of energy it takes my stomach just to process that salad. And what is there? 14 calories in there. And then on top of it, it has less nutrients in the salad, in the lettuce than it would have 100 years ago. Like you said, the soils deplete. There's pesticides, glyphosate. There's all these chemicals that are on it. There's toxins in these vegetables. They don't want you to eat them. It's like, are you telling me all of those negative factors counteract to that I should be having 14 calories worth of lettuce in my stomach? Like the math just doesn't even make sense. But
No.
it's like this social norm that we've been told so long, and you got to have these vegetables. They're so darn good for you that nobody can wrap their brain around any other way, I guess.
No, and spinach, I believe, was the cause of my 2 different kidney stones that I had, because I used to
Oh,
eat tons of raw spinach, and I went down and went an ambulance ride twice from kidney stones. Which, yeah, but also, like you said, migraines and bloating, like always was bloated from vegetables, like, and I raw juiced for months and months, and trying to figure out, why am I always bloated? This is supposed to help, just raw juice, just green juice. And I ate raw vegetables, and I always was always sick.
Yeah.
Like,
Man, I'm so happy you found this, because you have undoubtedly suffered so much. I had 2 kidney stones as well, and I'd rather die, I think, than have another kidney stone. That was so painful, so
worse.
painful. And then you get them, if you go to the hospital, I don't know what they told you. They told me, they're like, you might have this for like 2 or 3 days
Yeah.
before it'll pass. Oh my
The
God.
first time they acted like I was some kind of drug addict, and I just wanted medication shot into me or
Yeah.
something. And then the second time, I was living on Oahu in Hawaii, and they were like super cool about it, and they like knew exactly what was going on, and like they treated me well. But yeah, no, that was the worst pain. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. It's awful.
You're reminding me. So the first one I had, I went to the hospital, and this was after a long time. I didn't know what it was. And they gave me some IV pain medicine, some really good pain medicine. Literally a tear came down my eye. I was so thankful, and just to have a little tiny bit of relief, and it wasn't even fully relief, but just have a little tiny bit of relief. Yeah. And where do I'd be willing to bet never would have happened had we been eating like we are now. Then it's like you said, the spinach, the oxalates, it's all this stuff we weren't supposed to eat. I also lost my appendix. It burst on the operating table. Also lost my gallbladder.
Oh,
I think all of those things were from just the crappy food we were eating that I was never intended to eat in the first place.
yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, so many different health issues that, like, I don't get headaches anymore. I used to get migraines all the time. Just different things that you don't realize that aren't happening anymore, and you're like, holy crap, wow,
Right.
this is insane. And so yeah, I want to shout to the world, and I want the world to know, you can do this. You don't need doctors, like, for a lot of stuff. You really don't.
Yeah. It's absolutely incredible when you just get the hell out of the way and let your body do what it was intended, and stop putting all those toxins and garbage in, how much you'll heal. Was there a moment? I've interviewed so many carnivores now, and some of them talk about this moment where it's almost like a switch went off, or you had this sudden realization, like, whoa, this is working. Something's happening here that I've never felt this way before. Did you have a moment like that?
So yeah, basically, I had been healing slowly, and it was last November, so I was basically at a year, and I was healing so much that I wanted to kind of give myself a congratulations treat at Thanksgiving.
Mm.
Wow, what a mistake. That lasted until the end of the year,
Oh.
right? That treat. Okay. And I got so sick. And I wasn't doing like a lot of stuff, but throwing in random stuff. And then at Christmas, I got real depressed. I was alone. And it was just awful. And I went heavy on everything. And when I got really sick off of that, that's when I realized, like, the big picture. Like, holy shit, dude. Like, you cannot, like, look at everything you just did in the last month, and look at yourself. And so I started taking some pictures again of myself. And when I look back at just, from December, the change, it's a whole different person, and I've lost, I wasn't heavy. At least I never thought I was heavy for myself, but I'm 6 foot, and I was at 200 pounds, I think, at my heaviest. I got all the way down to 130 when I was like super strict, and then started working out and adding more meat and more fat. And now I'm up to 140 with muscle, which is, I feel, a great weight for me. I'm, actually, like, loving it. So yeah.
That's great. So we're doing this documentary, Healing Humanity. It seems like a lot of people, when they do this, you have this sort of second chance at life. People tend to look at the world a little differently. Do you look at the world differently, or do you feel like humanity needs healing?
I've always have since the age of 14 when I dropped a hit of mescaline, I believe that changed my whole life at that point. But yeah, I've always believed that, and now way more than ever. The problem, I feel like that brain fog, and I feel like the ingredients have gotten so bad. And if you look at kids nowadays, like I can't, it crushes my heart to see obese children. Like that just, it blows my mind. It crushes my soul. Like there's something happening that's, whatever. I think it's all by plan, but I need to escape it. So yeah, that's yeah. The bigger picture, like yeah, healing is healing, and trying to change people's minds and getting them out of the brain fog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on the children. It's one of the big reasons I'm doing the documentary too, besides mental health, is this next generation. Um, I've got I've got kids. Well, they're getting older now too, but you look at their peers, even teenagers, and they're walking around with these big sugar drinks. And like when I was that age, I had bad food that led me to where I am now. But what they're having now is magnitudes worse than what I was having back then. It's like everything is ultra processed and sugar everywhere. It absolutely breaks my heart too with younger kids. I've mentioned this before on the channel, but you look at the cereal aisle in the store, it's just pure garbage sugar with cartoon characters on it. And you get them hooked early from a young age, and it's just like they're a lifelong sugar addict, like a drug addict. It's just money. It's just money. It's worth a ton of money if you get them hooked young.
It's what angers me so much is the fact that sugar, and they just push. And if you look at ingredient lists from back in the day and now, why? What? They're obviously putting shit that doesn't cost anything in there to kill people, keep them sick, go on the doctor. They're all, everybody's making money off the same damn circle.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting paid, but it's why do you want to make people so? It's just because it's evil. To me, it's just pure evil, and it gets me so damn angry. This is why I just want to get this ranch thing happening, and I want to put spaces in for people to come and stay for long periods of time until they need. I don't care. Just come and let's get healthy.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to do it though, because I'm mad too. But on the flip side, I'm like, no matter how mad I get at the cereal companies or people putting sugar in junk food, they're never going to change. But what we can change is if we can educate people and start seeing it. Because a lot of people, you don't know what you don't know, right? Like I didn't know this before. Right. My parents gave me sugar and cereal, and I gave it to my kids too. And now it's like the biggest regret of my life. But until I knew any better, yes, everyone's doing it. Grandma's doing it. Everyone's doing it. So
yeah, everybody's fine. It's great.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy? Isn't that crazy? This social norm where everyone's just fine. But if you really look around in the world right now or look at the statistics, it's going downhill fast. Obesity, type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety, fertility rates. Like people, it's just everything. But yeah, if you go and ask the general public on the standard American diet right now, it's not that bad. Not that big of a deal. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, and the fast food, like people just eat so much fast food. I was never big into fast food, but like I prefer to make a salad and but then pour seed oil dressing on it, which I thought, people said you need some fat with your salad to get more of the goodness out of the vegetables, and everything was just bullshit. Everything. And now they want to tag every cow in the country, and if your cow doesn't have the right stuff, then they're not going to let you process it. So, which makes me even more want to just have my own damn cows that they can't touch.
Right. Yeah.
It's
It's
getting
insane
scary.
how literally everything is backwards.
Yeah.
Like every example you could look at, the food pyramid, the food system, everything we're told by our doctors. Like if I would have just done the opposite,
Yeah.
which is so crazy, I'd have been so much better off. Turn the food pyramid upside down. They said don't eat meat, eat the meat instead. They said eat the vegetables, don't eat the vegetables. Like everything's backwards.
Yeah, it's totally backwards and it's mind blowing. And I don't get why more people like can't look around and be awakened to it. But you know, it's what they're eating is causing them to be so damn fogged and closed off and asleep to it all. So you can't blame them. All you can do is blame these corporations. And what's that going to do for us? Because you know, they're too big.
Right.
So, let's do our thing one person at a time and change one person at a time. Like
Yep.
somehow
Well,
an angel changed me and sent Michaela to me to change me, and one person at a time.
yeah. Well, you're doing it right now. I'm telling you, just wait. Once your story gets out there now, you're going to hear a bunch of people that had psoriasis, that had depression, that had your issues. Maybe they couldn't resonate with my story or Bill Knott's story, but your story is going to resonate with them. And it's amazing because what'll happen is this. That's going to change, say, 5 more people, right? But then those 5 people, boom, 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 because this works. You don't see that with Weight Watchers or the vegan diet or anything like that. Like right now, my whole family's doing it, but also my extended family, my younger sister, older sister, my stepmom, my stepdad. And now people are seeing my stepmom, or I'm sorry, my regular mom, my stepdad and my mom. People are seeing my mom in their 70s and they're like, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? You look great. Like what? And so now she's inspiring her peers. I really, looking on the positive side, it seems like this thing is really starting to spread. Someone was telling me the other day, like on Google Trends, you can type in carnivore is more popular now than keto. More people are searching for carnivore on Google than keto. So at least there's
the revolution.
Something.
The revolution's starting for sure.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
my mom, my mom got me like kind of into the fasting thing when I told her like I found this woman and like I'm going to try this, and she's like, look, start with fasting, it'll help, because you're trying to heal your gut. And she's had what 4 or 5 different types of arthritis, MS, all kinds of problems throughout her life. She was on prescription drugs for 50 years, right? She's now carnivore. She's now off all her drugs. She's the one who brought me to you and said, you have to like email this guy. You have to like, she told me for like weeks, and I'm like, I'm busy. I'll get to it. Plus, I was hesitant, because I break down and I get all freaking cry about it because it's such a big deal to me. But I have to do this. Like I have to be here and I have to tell people.
Right.
Because, yeah, like you're right. 1 out of every 10 people has some sort of psoriasis issue, right?
Yeah.
So look at all the people who have issues, just, depression, suicide, psoriasis, skin, eczema, all the different things, arthritis is, yeah. So let's help them all.
Yeah. Well, I love your emotion too. I don't know about you. Have you always been that way? Because on carnivore now, I find myself getting emotional and crying I don't care. I do it all the time now. I don't know what it is. Like if I was bottling it up before or what, but you hear so many beautiful stories like this too. Like when people are getting a second chance at life coming from that darkness, it's hard not to get emotional. But have you always been that way?
I think I've always been pretty emotional. Yeah, for the most part. I just feel like I'm an empath type of person.
Yeah.
I catch vibes from everything. I can read people like really fast. I feel energies and that kind of weird shit. But for me, it's not weird. It's just normal. And yeah.
You want to know something that's really crazy? Like, so I'm doing this documentary. There's just these crazy things that just keep aligning. And I don't know, it's bigger than me or whatever it may be. There's a plan, something's going on. I don't know what it is. I'm just going with it. I'm going to keep recording all these stories. It's been an amazing privilege for me to be able to do it. But when you sent me your email, it was so touching because I went through the depression as well. And when you talked about that, I'm an empath too. I could feel that, like this brotherhood or something, but I could feel your pain to some degree through your words. But what you said in that email too, when you mentioned Michaela Peterson,
Mhm.
I have heard this story so many times that people either saw Michaela or her father, Jordan Peterson, and then they did some more research and now their life has changed forever and they've got a second chance at life. Well, when you sent me that email, I think it was minutes or maybe an hour, the same day before that, I got an email from somebody that said they watched a couple of my YouTube videos and they want to have me on their podcast.
Mm.
And it was the mother of Michaela Peterson, Tammy Peterson.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? So I read hers, and then shortly after I read yours. I'm like, wow. And then I'm thinking, so we haven't quite scheduled it yet. I think we're going to be scheduling it tomorrow or something, but I'm really looking forward to talking to Tammy Peterson because the Peterson family has changed so many lives. And if it's okay with you, I wanted to read just that part of your message to her. And I just want to tell her, I'm like, do you realize like how much your family is, you pretty much said in that thing, like, what if you hadn't found that Michaela Peterson video?
I wouldn't be here. I know I wouldn't. And my mom would be devastated. And, yeah, I please, and I shared it with Michaela on Twitter or X or whatever it is. And she actually responded to me.
Oh, nice.
And then she retweeted it, which was amazing. Cause like, I owe that family like my life right now. And so tell them thank you from me.
I will. I'm going to tell them thank you from you. And I get so many comments on my YouTube videos, and I've heard it over and over and over again. Like, I don't know, they probably have an idea, but I don't know if they realize the impact they're having, because these are just people like you that are cool enough to tell them. How many people watched a Michaela Peterson or Jordan Peterson video and did it, and just, you never comment, you never hear it. Like, it's so many people, literally thousands on my channel. Since I started doing carnivore content, I've had 70,000 comments. Thousands of those have said, I saw Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan and I decided to do this. It changed my life forever, over and over and over again. On the mental health, depression, anxiety front, that's where I'm really passionate. But there's so many things that people are hopeless, like psoriasis. With the suffering that you went through, it's just crazy to me, the amount of suffering that people are going through. And in so many cases, this is it. This is the answer. It's right here. We have the answer for it. It's like there's a big bucket of gold right here, and we're like, here, come take this. It's right here, but like no one's listening.
It's insane, and they want to keep it from us, and that's the craziest part to me. Is like that people are so damn evil in this world, and they shouldn't be. Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if they'll be able to see this, but I need to show my legs, bro, because these things have never looked like this. Okay, so it basically looked and felt like I had been covered in I don't know, some kind of clay, and then been dragged behind a truck through gravel for the day. And basically, and then you wait for the little bit of healing to crust up and get everything tight. So my skin was so tight and crusty and thick, and it was literally from here down, and to be able to be freely. Yeah. Oh man.
I can't believe it, man. Because you sent me. I'm gonna show them on the screen. Just when you showed that after the before pictures, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible that amount.
I'm gonna have some real after pictures taken of me. I'm just gonna get one of my photographer friends to do it.
Nice.
So yeah, because I think it's time to get a real photo of my full body.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, What are your thoughts? I think I know the answer to this question, but I got to ask it because I talk to so many people, and a lot of people are like, I can't stay on carnivore. It's too restrictive. I can't do that. Are you a carnivore for the rest of your life now? Are you going to add things back in, or?
I would like to try and add a few things. Like I've tried coconut water because I just love it so much. And if I can get a good organic coconut, like I'll take it camping with me and chop the top off, and it doesn't seem to affect me at all. Um, but I mean, I'm definitely eating grass-fed beef pretty much as my number one source of food for the rest of my life. Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. Because that's what saved me for sure. And yeah, I doubt I'll ever add too much more back in. Maybe some fruit that I miss here and there on occasion, some berries. But I'd like to maybe do some eggs again. Start adding that back in and see what that does. It's just that, they're ridiculously expensive, and I'd rather just go to a farm that has the right eggs and get them from them, which, LA is kind of crazy with that. So we'll wait till I move.
What, you did this because you were suffering so bad, kind of like an intervention. Have you thought about the future now and growing old and people like, I've talked to so many carnivores that are older and they don't have all of these other issues. Do you think about the future at all and the impact that this new diet's going to have on you long term?
I have not really thought about myself that way, and how I'm going to be, because I'm still kind of in the moment, like in disbelief almost every day at what, like, that this is real. Like I gotta pinch myself, and I gotta touch my skin and be like, dude, this is really real. Like this is, but for other people, and I've always thought of other people, helping other people more than myself. Always, it's just the way I am. So yeah, like I think that now I'll be able to, obviously, because now I'm alive still, and I see a longer future ahead of me, and I see a bigger picture now, which I never saw before. I always saw just dark, and that was, so to be able to see a future now, and to be able to start dreaming of a future, and this ranch that I want to do, and have people come and heal and just feed them, and I just want to feed them. And I have friends that want to help train people with physical fitness part. And then my mom, I want to bring her out back from Costa Rica and have her doing equestrian therapy, which she's always wanted to do. So like, definitely, yeah, I see a bigger future than I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's one of the big eye-opening things for me. Like initially I was doing this for weight loss or type 2 diabetes or depression, but I have learned so much about a lot of these chronic diseases we get when we're aging: Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer. Most are caused from chronic inflammation. And I think you and I were probably pretty chronically inflamed before this. We're not anymore. I'm not worried about cancer or Alzheimer's or dementia. I might get it, but even if I do get it, I'm not even that worried about it now, because I feel like my immune system is so much stronger now. The way I'm living now versus before. What has this been like for family, friends, people you hang out with that saw kind of where you were before and where you are now?
My mom's the happiest, like, about me. She loves seeing me like this, because she's always been the person I went to for suffering, because she understands the pain, because she's been dealing with it herself her whole life. And then her mother, my grandmother, went through dementia and Alzheimer's, and my mom actually wrote a book about the whole process of how we were living with her at the time, and how it, the whole thing it went through. And when my mom started getting more serious about it, and she saw me getting more serious about it. We both kind of like are coaching each other, and that's been great. Other family members have not been so receptive. Yeah, but I don't want to get into that. But yeah, mom, and even my father, who is the most stubborn, thick-headed person. He's like, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's. I said, just try it. Just try this. Try to cut out just a few things. So he's kind of listening, and I sent him some photos, and he said he was proud of me for the first time ever in my life. Like we've never had a great relationship, and I'm like, okay, like maybe I can help change his mind a little bit, so he can enjoy a little bit of the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. The more you talk, the more I just totally feel you. It's a similar situation with me. My dad's the same way, and I've been trying, but you plant those little seeds and who knows what'll happen before you know it. For me too, like with my dad, I'm like, even if he does this a little bit, it's going to help versus what he was doing before, like baby steps. But people surprise me all the time where like my wife, she did carnivore, she fell off, and I'm like, she's never doing this again. She's on day 75 right now, I think. I never would have thought she'd come back to it. She is the most stubborn person she's going to watch this too. I don't care.
I watched you guys in the live feed the other day, and she was
she is so stubborn and bullheaded, and I never thought she would start again, and she's back on. You can't deny it when you're seeing all of this healing from so many people. You want to have a part of it.
Yeah, my friends, my close friends that have seen me at my worst, are just, they're shocked. They're like, "What the hell, dude? Like, how is this even possible?" And I tell them, they don't, they're like, there's no way. That's like what you're doing. Like yeah, bro, that's it. That's all I'm doing. Simple as that.
That's
like,
awesome.
you can do it too. So yeah.
All right. My last question for you is if you look back on your whole journey so far, if you could go back in time and give yourself any advice, is there anything you would do differently, or I guess any advice you could give for other people out there who are considering starting this?
I would absolutely do not hesitate, because there's no reason not to do this. There is no reason, no matter what doctors say about the risks. We've all been lied to, in a giant way. So, like, please, like, I'm here to show you that, like, anything is possible. Like, it's just, I'm in awe of the changes that can be made, and I'm in awe of just the impact on people's lives that this is having. So just don't be scared. Do it. Just, if you need to reach out to people, reach out to people. There's tons of people online that will talk to you. Like, you can, there's a million ways to do this. Just do it. Just do it. Try it.
Right. Yeah. It's like, you should be scared of not doing it. You should be scared of going through your whole life and never like really feeling what it feels like to live like we are.
If I had this information 30 years ago, I can't even imagine where I'd be in life right now. You know what I mean? Because it held me back so much on the daily basis because of not being able to sleep, because of always being in pain, like every minute, because of not wanting to go out in public, all the reasons, man, God only knows, but whatever, forget that. Everything happens for a reason. That pain and suffering led me to here. And here I am to tell you that you don't have to be suffering. You don't have to be in pain. You can literally just eat some grass-fed beef and it changes your life. Like, it's
right.
Isn't
that the craziest thing too? It's like, I just got to eat a bunch of steaks and everything will be better. That's really not that big of a problem, right?
And it's crazy because throughout my life, I always, like, even though I knew, like, I was supposed to be a vegetarian, because that's, what my whole thing was. When there was meat around and I could get some of it, oh my God, did I love it. Oh, you
Yeah.
know, and I think back, like my grandparents used to make my brother and I like T-bone steaks, and that was one of my favorite meals as a child. I'm
Mm.
like, yeah, of course it was.
I feel like now too, when I eat like a big fatty piece of meat, almost like my body's like, thank you. That's it. Like you figured it out. Like that's it. Just that was it the whole time.
What a trip! What a trip!
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, yeah, it's a blessing. It's an absolute blessing.
Yeah. Well, I just want to tell you again, man, I'm so happy that you found this and turned things around and that you're sharing your story here because it's really going to inspire a lot of people. And I know this sounds like I'm in middle school or something, but man, I'm your buddy now. I'm here for you if you need anything. Like you got my info. I'd love
I'm
to have you
coming
back
out to
on.
see
Maybe.
you guys. I'm coming out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I would love it. Is there anything you want to shout out or mention? I don't know if you're on social media or anything. If you want people to follow you or anything you want to shout out, feel free.
If you want to see some of my concert photography, I'm on Instagram at Best Concert Photos. Other than that, I'm kind of low key on
Okay.
social media. I do have a account. I just actually followed. It's a private account, Lash BZ. But yeah, this the company I've been working for the last like 10 years. I have my cannabis cream out with them. So if you're in California, you can actually pick up my healing cream, and it's really good for pain relief and to help keep psoriasis like flakes down if you're all flaky and stuff. Plus a bunch of other stuff, bug bites, burns, rashes. Yeah. It took me like 4 years to produce that in my kitchen, and it's amazing, and it's cool to have something out on the market that helps people because all about helping people. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Awesome.
let's link up more and help more people. And I can't even thank you enough for having me. I can't. But yeah, I'm gonna come see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You come up here, I'm gonna make you a big steak for sure.
Right on.
I'll
Yeah.
I will have the links that Lash just mentioned. I'll put those in the description as well, so they're easy to find. But thank you so much, Lash, for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. Open invite. I'd love to have you back. We got to get an update when you get the property for sure. It's gonna happen. It's all gonna come together. You're passionate. You're fired up about it. The world's gonna make it happen. So I'm looking forward to talking to you some more.
Let's do this. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
a
I
lot.
appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thanks.